If you're making less than $10,000 a month with YouTube automation, then chances are you're in one of these three camps. Number one, you just haven't started yet, and in that particular case, you're in the right spot. Secondly, you could have started a channel, but you've picked the wrong niche to pursue, and that's holding you back from making the income that you want. Or you have very poor planning, poor production, and poor packaging. This is to say that your videos are just not good. And in this video, we are going to solve any and all of those three situations, no matter where you are. If you're unfamiliar with me, I've built up multiple faceless YouTube channels to over 2 million subscribers, made hundreds of thousands of dollars, and helped my students earn hundreds of thousands of dollars from their channels as well. So let's get into it. So before you dive into your journey, it's very important to understand why you'd want to start YouTube automation in 2026 in the first place, because if you don't know that, then you're not going to be excited and eager and disciplined enough to do this in the first place. So the way that I see it, as I've almost been doing faceless YouTube for about 10 years, right now profit margins are extremely high with YouTube because you can produce videos at a fraction of what I was paying, especially when I first started. So again, higher profit margins means more money you take home every single month. More advertisers are advertising on the platform because viewership on YouTube has grown year over year. Lower time investment. So if you work a busy 9-to-5 job, you have a family, etc., AI has really helped increase the speed of the production process for your videos, which means that you're not going to have to spend all day making them, even if you're doing it yourself. And you also get the benefit of privacy that's always existed with faceless channels. So now, if you're making less than $10,000 a month, there is the ability and the potential that you have just selected the wrong niche for your channel if you've gotten started. So chances are you either picked a niche that was in very low demand, which means that not a lot of people even want to watch your content in the first place, or you've picked a low monetization niche where even if you are getting some views, you're really not able to convert those views into a significant amount of money, which is ultimately what you want, right? So again, this assumes you have been regularly uploading, which if you have and you aren't getting any traction at all, your niche may be the reason why. So what you want to be looking for in a niche is that it meets two key criteria: high demand, which means that there are a lot of people that could potentially watch your video, and then high monetizability, which just simply means that you have an ability to turn those views into money effectively and efficiently. Ideally, you have at least two monetization methods associated with your channel: brand deals, affiliates, exclusive content, digital products on top of the ad revenue that you want to be putting out and making. This is why I work with people directly to choose their niche, because it has certain criteria you need to meet. And if you do want to do this together, you can learn more about that in this video's description and pinned comment. But I'm going to show you how I go about doing it myself, which is using TubeLab. So what I like about TubeLab is all I need to do is open up the tool, go to the niche finder, and I hit the filters. And so I can filter channels by last year, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month. And I like to filter for high quality content. And then I just select faceless, monetized, I set my income target, and then I just select the language and I hit filter. And what this allows me to do is see all these different channels that meet my criteria. Look at how much this one is making. So as you continue to scroll down in the tool, it's basically going to pick out niches that have that income potential that you're searching for, so you don't spend the next 3, 6, 9 months uploading videos in a niche that's never going to make you the money that you want. So usually how I go about this process is that I'm looking for certain markers, right? I'm looking for high demand and high profitability. And profitability in this case is higher RPMs, and I also like to validate that the niche has other ways of making money outside of ad revenue as well. And the way you do that is just simply look at the videos. Are they promoting anything? And if the case is true, then obviously that's something that's making the channel owner money on top of the ad revenue it's already making. So now if we scroll down a little bit more, you're going to see many different examples of channels. Not only are they monetized, how much they're making, what their average RPM is, which is important because you don't want to be pursuing a niche that's got like a $1 RPM. It's going to be nearly impossible to make any money with ad revenue. So again, this is going to save you hours of searching on YouTube and hoping for the best, having to get all these other tools just to seek out ad revenue rates. So that you are able to pick your niche more effectively. So let's just say that we wanted to look at a channel like this, Mistral, right? It's focusing on space content. So you can see the profitability is high, there's high demand, and to me, that means that this channel has potential for making the types of money that we would want to pursue and build for ourselves with YouTube automation. So that is a process that you want to pursue. Again, you can do this just by simply guessing, but you're probably going to end up wasting quite a bit of time and money trying to pick the perfect niche. So for 20 bucks a month, and I'm not getting paid to say this, you can just simply use a simple tool like this, find a niche for yourself in seconds. Now, let's say that you have a niche that can actually make you money. The second thing that might be holding you back is your planning, production, and packaging. So if you're under 10K a month, you're probably picking the wrong topics for your videos or your video production. So the script, the voiceover, the editing, it sucks. Or your packaging for your videos, which is your title and your thumbnail, is just not very good. So people are not really that inclined to click on your videos in the first place, right? And why YouTube is a little bit challenging is because you have to have all these factors in play and working in combination for not only people to click, but also for people to watch. And so if you're missing any of these aspects, your channel is never going to grow. So what does this mean? We need to lock this stuff down. So the first thing that you need to think about is topic criteria. So what are you actually looking for when you're trying to find topics or video ideas for your videos? You want to focus on outliers, so videos that have done better than average on their respective channels. And you want to tap into existing demand so that you're not just sending out videos that, well, maybe those videos were popular 8 months ago, but now no one cares about that topic anymore. You can imagine that that's just going to be a waste of your time and money. So you want to focus on topics that people are actually interested in watching right now. So what does this mean for you? Well, you need a repeatable framework that you can use to pick these topics day over day, week over week, and month over month. So let's just go back here and let's open up this channel right here, Beyond the Blue. So let's say that you're pursuing this particular niche, which is talking about, obviously, deep sea elements, aquatics, etc. So you can see here that this channel is uploading pretty regularly. It's generating quite a few views, over 3 million views per month. And so what we would want to do is find an approach, if we were in this niche, for coming up with topics for our videos. So the way that I like to assess what topics people are interested in watching is I use vidIQ. So I just go here, once vidIQ is installed, I go view trending videos. And what that allows me to do is it basically allows me to see videos on the channel that are getting quite a few views per hour. So here you can see this video is, let's say, 2 months old, still getting over 300 views per hour. So clearly people are very interested in videos on why Antarctic oceans turn animals into giants, right? So you can basically emulate that topic, come at it from a different angle, maybe use a different format, which is the length, structure, and appearance of your videos, to tap into people that want to watch content on this matter. It can be just as simply as you making a longer video. So again, this is how you're seeing what people are interested in watching because they're watching it right now. And then, in this channel's example, most of them are massive outliers. But if you see this video that we just identified, 100x outlier, right? So this is obviously a very positive sign that this video is well received by the market, and that could be something that you can pursue on your channel. So instead of just guessing, you want to find role model channels in your niche. So you'd have, let's say, this one and 3 others, and you'd see what topics people want to watch, and then you can use that as a starting point for your video production process so that you're not spending your precious time and money uploading videos that are basically on topics that no one wants to watch. So that's how you go through the ideation process in a repeatable way. But the reality is that you could have the right topics but low quality video production. So where most people go wrong. So if you're really not making any money at all with your YouTube channel and you really do want to, then you need to identify where you're having challenges. And so when it comes to production, there's the script writing, the voiceovers, and the editing. So right now, if you're self-producing the scripts, you're writing them, the good old-fashioned way without AI, potentially your script writing skills, your level of research is not where it needs to be to make a compelling script, or you don't have the right framework. I share my proprietary Hive method with my students. And again, if you do want to do this together, you can just click the link in this video's description. But the whole point around it is that if you don't have a proper framework for writing scripts, people are not going to be engaged by the scripts that you're preparing. And then even if you have a good editor and a good thumbnail designer, and you potentially even have really good topics, people are not going to watch your videos. Now, the other thing you might be doing is using the wrong script writing tool. So using general ChatGPT to make your scripts, it can't really retain information super well when making longer scripts. So you're probably going to get a lot of hallucinations, a lot of duplications, and people are not going to enjoy that content. So I'm going to share with you what tools I personally use in a second. Then with voiceovers, you're either potentially paying human voiceover artists a ton of money that you don't need to anymore, or you're using low quality AI voiceovers. So the cool thing is that AI, number one, AI voiceovers can be monetized. I've done it on numerous channels so far. However, it's very cost effective because you can pay $20 a month and get enough voiceover time for, let's say at least a handful of videos, if not more, and for a fraction of what you'd pay a voiceover artist. The challenge is that what people end up doing is that they don't pursue voiceovers using AI that actually sound good. And so then people basically call you out, they don't want to watch your videos, and you've kind of lost before you've started. Now, the final thing is editing. So if you're editing your videos yourself, potentially because you just don't have a huge budget, then unfortunately you're just going to have to accept that that could be a bottleneck holding your videos back. But my recommendation for you, especially if you can't automate your video production with AI, you need to spend a bit more on editors so your video comes together properly, because otherwise, I'm telling you right now, people are not going to want to watch your videos. And if you have one of these plates out of whack when it comes to the production of your videos, and everything else is good, your video will still not perform well. So if you're going to do something, do it right and pay the people that are going to be able to put the videos together for you properly. So what tools are you going to use, and what are some best practices? So that you basically don't waste your money and you don't waste your time this year and you actually get to your $10,000 a month target, first you want to use the right tool. So Subscriber AI is definitely the best YouTube AI script writing tool on the market. It costs about $50 per month. If you're serious about this, it's well worth the investment. No, I'm not getting paid to say this, but what this tool can do is it can basically absorb the profile of a channel or your channel, and it can write exactly like that channel. So if you have someone that's already been writing scripts for you and you want to now have the tool emulate whatever they've done, you just feed in your own channel into the tool and it's going to write the scripts as you. And beyond that, it does a really good job of concisely laying out scripts that are even, 20, 30, 40, 60 minutes long. And it's a very easy tool that just about anyone can learn in under 1 hour. So again, you'll be able to create scripts for your videos that are going to be super high quality. I've generated many tens, if not hundreds of thousands of views in videos and single videos just from using these script writing tools. I'm still working on the 1 million view video. But the whole point around this is that you're not going to be lagging or deficient from a script writing perspective. Then use 11 Labs for your voiceovers. You've probably already seen this tool being told to you many times. It is still the gold standard for tools for YouTube automation. And my recommendation is just take some time to actually listen and test the voices. Don't just pick the first one. Don't just pick one that, you're somewhat happy with. I know when I'm picking voices, I usually spend about an hour testing them. How do they sound? Do they mess up words more often than others? And how do I want that voice to resonate with my audience? And then when it comes to hiring an editor, not all formats are going to be able to be created with AI, which means you may need to hire a freelancer. Please ask for demo work before you hire anyone so that you don't waste your precious time and money paying them for full videos that are never going to perform. Create your job posting, ask for demo work, share the reference videos that you want to use as a piece of reference material for them to then emulate. And that will allow you to understand if you're actually going to be able to get the quality you need or if you need to move on to the next person. Now, that is the initial ideation and also the video production process items that you need to be considerate of. And you can do all that right, and then you could still not get a lot of results. And the reason being is that your titles and thumbnails suck. And usually titles are something that people can kind of lock down pretty fast. But what I've noticed, especially starting with people just starting their YouTube journey, is they really struggle with thumbnails. So we're going to talk through how you can improve your thumbnails to actually get more views so you can start making that money you want. So when it comes to titles and thumbnails, when it comes to titles specifically, sometimes people make their titles too long. They end up getting cut off when they're being recommended to viewers, or they're just too long that people don't actually want to read them. And so people will not decide to click on your video, and that's holding you back. Or you're ignoring proven frameworks. For example, certain length structures, certain, cadences of the words that you're using, etc. And we'll talk about that in a second. The other thing when it comes to thumbnails is you could be creating a thumbnail and you're just duplicating the title on the thumbnail, which is basically eradicating any opportunity to further enhance the intrigue around your video. Big mistake. Or your thumbnails are just boring, okay? People are trading their precious time of their life to watch your video. They need to be and have a really, really good reason to click on your video, because otherwise they don't want to waste their time. So my recommendation for you is honestly ask yourself, are these thumbnails intriguing? Are they signaling what the topic is actually about? If not, you're going to struggle. So I just want to give you an example of a thumbnail that I've come across. And I just want to talk through the things I personally think about when I'm reviewing thumbnails or looking at them and kind of critically reviewing them to see why a certain video would get a certain result. So here you have, ditch these 7 toxic mindsets to accelerate success now. Zap 7 toxic mindsets for success. So if I'm looking at this critically and giving feedback, the things that I would be thinking of is, number 1, unclear benefit from the title. So if I'm looking at the title, ditch these 7 toxic mindsets to accelerate success now. What's success? Is it making more money, getting in better shape, getting a partner? What does success mean? It's too vague. People don't know what they're clicking on, so they're not going to click. Next, it duplicates the title and the thumbnail. 7 toxic mindsets to accelerate success. Zap 7 toxic mindsets for success. Add something new, right? It could be something as similar as 7 toxic mindsets to accelerate success. Change your life forever. Perfect. That's so much better. And also poor color choices. Here you have something that's negative, 7 toxic mindsets, but it's green. Does that really make sense? Are you really actually signaling the right thing to the prospective viewer? No, you're not. So I hope that gives you some insights onto the way I think about packaging videos, because it's more important what goes on the thumbnail in terms of the messaging than the design skills used, which is great for you if you don't have a lot of design skills, like in the same case as me, effectively. Now, some best practices if you are putting your own titles and thumbnails together, as you could and should be. For titles, keep them to less than 50 characters for long form videos, because this is going to allow you to make sure that your titles don't get cut off when your videos are getting recommended. You want to have clear context. So again, ensure that whatever the video is about, it comes through clearly in your title so that people don't click and click off, or they get confused before even clicking in the first place. And have high intrigue titles. You need to focus on making sure that people feel drawn to clicking on the video because of the title. And so that's going to be super important. Now with the thumbnails, use something that complements the title like I just shared with you. Something that's going to add extra value and extra context to the viewer so they're even more enticed on top of the title to click on the video. Using minimal text, 4 words or less in my preference, and also consistent branding so that when people keep getting recommended your videos, which this is a really great example here, they're going to know that it's from this channel, Beyond the Blue, right? But if you keep changing things all the time, it makes it very hard for your prospective viewer to automatically click on that video once it gets recommended to them. So things to think about as you're going forward. Again, you may not get all these certain things right away, but you will start to piece them together over time. So if you want to come up with ideas for your titles, because it's not easy, especially as you're starting, my recommendation to you would be to use a tool like Creator Hooks. And this is going to basically show you titles that are working right now. So you could say the most underrated drawing exercise of all time, the most underrated productivity hack of all time. You can start to use these as frameworks for your own videos. And the great part about it is that this tool here, and this is a completely free newsletter, it's going to show you why the title worked, how you can use it, and different examples. The most underrated supercar of all time. So again, just formulate it towards your topic and your niche, and this is going to help you advance forward. Now, let's just say that you want some other ideas because you're getting a mental block. What I like to do is go into ChatGPT and I could say, give me 5 other iterations based on this YouTube title. And I do this because I might want to add some backup titles to my repository, or I might actually want to use the A/B title testing feature on YouTube. So now you can see here we have most overlooked supercar ever made. The supercar nobody appreciated until now. So it's a lot more options for you without having to deliberate over it for minutes and hours at a time. So that's a recommendation for you to not only combine best practices of working titles that are working right now, but that you can actually use to create different variations so that you can speed up your production process. Because I know you're a busy person. If you made it this far, give yourself a pat on the back on top of hitting that subscribe button. Now, let's talk about thumbnails. So a lot of people think I need to be some thumbnail designer to create the perfect thumbnails for my videos. It's not the case. Okay, so what I want to share with you is a bit of a demo of me making a thumbnail in real time with you. So this video got 180,000 views, right? So basically you could see that is a dark background, you have Earth, then you have basically Atlas A3i or whatever it's called, and then you have some text above. So what I want to do is basically demystify the fact that you need to be some sort of thumbnail designer to create something like this. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get all the lines in a short video like this, but I can basically make the rest in real time so that you don't feel like this is some impossible task for you to take on and that you have to hire someone to do this for you. So the first thing that we could do is we could say dark sky background. And then we can go graphics. Maybe we should say spatial. Right, and then we can go under here. Perfect. All right, so photos. Okay, cool. So we can drop that in and drag it over, and we can have something like this. And then we could say Earth. Okay, here we go. And we can add something like this. Okay. And then even if we want to change the color, we can just simply go here. We can go auto adjust, brighten that up. Then we can brighten it up some more. And that's already starting to look a lot better. Maybe we want to add a drop shadow to it. So we can go like this. Perfect. And then we can bring that up. Okay, great. And then maybe we want to get an image of Atlas. Atlas 3i. Okay, and we're going to go to images. And we want to get an image of the asteroid. Perfect. So we could do something like this. And we can copy the image in. And then we can drop it in here like this. And then we can just simply remove the background. Let's refresh. Didn't like that image. We might have to try again. Okay, we'll have to find a different image. But we will. All right, let's get this one. So copy this image in, drop it in, remove the background. Excellent. Okay, so we're gonna then slide this over and we can do something like this, right? And so we can drag that down. And then we just need to add on some text. $150. All right. And then you could say December 15th, 2025. Or whatever date that we want to put. And we just drag it like this. And we go, 50, 80. Okay, perfect. And we'll just drag it out like this. And then we're going to change the font. So maybe we want to do extra bold. Oh, that looks pretty good. Okay, and then we could just make it like this. And then we can change the color, white, like that, okay? Now, obviously, there could be quite a bit of extra work that needs to be done to kind of get it to look like something like this. But the whole point is doing the actual mechanics is actually relatively fast and easy. That, we did this in real time. So again, then you just simply take the thumbnail, export it as a PNG, and then upload it on your channel. So the whole point around this, like I said, is just to show you what the process would look like. Obviously, you can take some more time to pick the right pictures, to pick other images, or think of other thumbnail text. Again, you should be making 3 thumbnails per video to use in the A/B testing feature, but that's how you go about this process. And if you want to learn how I made over 600K from one faceless YouTube channel, click on this next video.